Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh Singh and in this video we shall discuss the Gazette magazine for 1st September 2021, your daily guide to UPSC current affairs. Now, the hot selling articles in the market today are snapshots. The first one, UNEP saying that leaded petrol has been removed from the face of earth. We'll receive an update on the same. eSource is a platform developed for e-waste management, electronic waste management by IIT Madras. We'll understand what this is. And the third one is 7 years of the Dhan Yojana. So some detailed understanding on this. This day in history is the day we adopted the Indian Standard Time in 1947, 1st September 1947. Featured news which is on another video. Now, so that is the reason we have two videos, one on featured news and the second one on rest of the magazine. So the featured news for today is on fair and remunerative pricing. Now, this is the pricing for sugarcane which is determined by the government every year. And this is very important because there are various stakeholders involved in this pricing. The first one is the farmer, the second one is the sugar mill, then the government, and then we have various aspects like the management of the byproducts and export, ethanol blending, etc. All of them will be covered in this particular feature topic, which is holistic in nature with respect to sugarcane cultivation. So important article. Moving on, image of the day is on Miyawaki style urban forest. Terms and concepts for today. The first one is FSDC, Financial Stability and Development Council. Second one is DIMAHASSAN. If you have not heard of it, this is one of the districts of Assam. Third one, Keth Model from Bihar. And the fourth one, Vaccinated Travel Lane, all developed by Singapore. The editorials of the day are one on national education policy and two lacunae that the editorial has presented. The second one is on BRICS and reformation in BRICS, and the third one talks about the dark side of digitalization. So important article from a new perspective. Case study of the day is on gender equality from Norway. So let's start the discussion. We have dedicated this day in history to the Indian Standard Time because it was on 1st September 1947 that we adopted this time zone. This time zone is 5.5 hours ahead of the Greenwich Meridian time. Why and how? It is based on the timings at different places. Now, if the Greenwich Meridian is considered at this particular place, we are running 5.5 hours ahead of it. How? Because we are 82.5 degrees longitude ahead of GMT, right? Now, that is why we see the rise of the sun earlier than at Greenwich Meridian, right? And we are 5.5 hours ahead. Now, how is this calculated? See, the earth keeps revolving and rotating, right? So in rotation, it covers 360 degrees in 24 hours, right? So effectively, it will cover 15 degrees of movement, 15 degrees of movement in 1 hour. Right? And you will see that since India is located around 82.5 degrees to the east, 82.5 degrees, it will coincide with 5.5 hours of being ahead at Greenwich Meridian time. Now, this is important. Now, you should also note one important thing which is always in news. This is extra information. That is that we calculate our time from around Allahabad, around Mirzapur, which is at 82.5 degrees. However, we do see longitudinal extent of India is around 30 degrees, total 30 degrees. So 15 degrees to the west and 15 to the east. That means that though the time at all the places will be same, the sun at all the places will not be at the same place, right? So that the time when it is around 8 o'clock sun here, it will be almost 9 o'clock sun at this place because it is 15 degrees earlier. Right, the northeast is earlier, and if you see the extent of Gujarat, the time if it is 9 o'clock here in Gujarat, it will be almost 11 o'clock time in this place, right? So this is how India is also talking of, also in conversation, that we could have 2 different time zones or 3 different time zones, just like America has 6 time zones and Russia has 9 time zones. Snapshot 1 is an update on leaded petrol. UNEP has declared that leaded petrol has been removed from the face of earth and Algeria has become the last country to have done so. India had already removed leaded petrol use from the country a long while ago, just like the developed countries. Now, there are some benefits of leaded petrol and some issues. So let us quickly go through this. Now, when petrol gets refined, there is a limitation of technology of how much refining can happen. And therefore, when the crude oil is refined, we have petrol, we have diesel, and we have other products like gases, right? Now, since we did have some limitations in the previous times, so therefore, the efficiency of petrol would not be as much. Efficiency. That means the octane number of petrol would not be as much and it would yield less results. And it would also cause knocking of the engine. That means it would cause overheating, it would cause physical damage to the internal parts of the engine. When lead was introduced, it led to bettering of the octane number. So the engine capacity improved, efficiency of fuel also improved. However, it led to certain health hazards. Now it not only damages the environment, it also damages human beings as well, right? So young children are the most vulnerable to it. It also causes economic issues also because there is cost to health, right? So this is how the world switched to unleaded now, because we have got better refining capabilities right now. Also now the leaded technology also used to harm the catalytic converters of the vehicle. What is a catalytic converter? This is placed just before the exhaust. So we have seen the exhaust, right? Before that, there is a small device placed, catalytic converter. It is the one which converts the harmful metals and minerals which come out. It does some redox reaction there, and this is how it ensures that these particles are not released in the atmosphere as pollutants. So this leaded petrol also would harm the catalytic converters. So this is how we have now eliminated leaded petrol out of the face of earth. The second snapshot is related to e-waste management. Do you know India is the third largest producer of e-waste? India also utilizes only 5% of the e-waste effectively, and rest of it goes for waste. The world is at a juncture where we are using increased number of devices, electronic devices. We have home gadgets, white goods, we have the technology equipments, for example, computers, laptops, mobile phones, auto components, industrial goods, all of them utilizing the integrated circuits, ICs and chips. And therefore, we generated huge quantity of e-waste. And this is why the amount of e-waste around the world will double in the coming 15 years. This is why this snapshot talks about eSource. This is a platform, online platform developed by IIT Madras, and it talks about management of the e-waste. Sourcing typically means management of the suppliers. So suppliers of the waste, this is what has to be managed. If you refer to this diagram also, the center of it is about the aggregator. Aggregator is the one which will ensure that all the goods, all the e-waste goods are sourced and understood where they are coming from, and after that they will be effectively utilized for circular economy, right? So let's quickly understand the details of it. Now, this supply chain called as eSource, this is an exchange platform, right? A platform where people will be depositing their electronic waste and some people will be taking it from there, right? So this is an exchange platform, an online marketplace. So this is the first thing about it. It will enable circular economy. We have understood what circular economy is: reduce, reuse and recycle. This is the main concept. And if you want to know more about circular economy, we have covered this in a feature article on 27th May, right? So watch our news daily, and this is how you will be updated about all the latest terms, right? Now, the most important technology that it uses is machine learning. Now, artificial intelligence is applied to understand which are the places which are generating more e-waste, right? This will also understand image processing, this technology, eSource, and it will also understand the natural language processing. That means if I speak a word, the computer will understand on the basis of what I speak as to where it has to locate the product, right? The waste product. So using very good technology, it is trying to integrate the e-waste market. This is a collaboration between India and Germany, and the most beautiful component of eSource is that devices can not only be recycled, they can also be reused, repair and reuse. So this also generates an affordable market, affordable second-hand market for electronic devices. Snapshot 3 is on Prime Minister's Dhan Yojana, which has completed 7 years since its formulation. Now, this is how UPSC frames questions, right? It asks about critical examination of the scheme. It also asks about the recent developments that have happened, and let us quickly discuss the same. Now, this is a comprehensive financial inclusion program. It is not just about creating bank accounts. It is also about giving them credits, giving the credits to the people who are in need. This is one. Then ensuring that pension, that insurance services be delivered to them. Also about financial literacy and digital inclusion in the finances, right? So this is why this is called as a comprehensive financial inclusion program. Now, the earlier program was about having every household covered, every household. That means every house where there is a kitchen, where there's cooking happening and people have same financial resources. The idea earlier was to have one bank account at that place, but now it has been extended to every unbanked adult, right? So this is the extension of the program. The second is that there's been an increase in the accidental insurance, free. free accidental insurance through the repay card scheme. So these are the additional benefits people are receiving. Also, enhanced overdraft facility. What is an overdraft facility? In case I do not have any money in my account, I have zero money, I can still withdraw some money from the bank account. This has been extended to the people with Jan Dhan accounts from 5,000 to 10,000 rupees. So these are the kind of benefits. Also, upper age limit. So people with elder age also, they can participate in overdrafting of money. So these are the new parts of the scheme. However, what is the evaluation of the scheme? How has it helped? Now let us quickly look at it. Now, during the time of 2015, we had around 18% of such bank account holders, and now we have 43%. So this is the kind of financial inclusion and we are talking of right now. This is one. The deposits under this scheme has increased substantially. Now, if I have some money in my pocket, is it giving me interest? No, it is only getting spoiled. It is not even in the economy, and since it is not in economy, it is not hot money, and therefore it is important that if we put this money in the bank account, we will also receive gains and the money can be utilized for further development of the country, right? So deposits have increased. This was the main idea. Then the RuPay card usage has increased, so people have started making softer transactions. This is under the government ambit of the taxation. Also, Jan Dhan Darshak app. Now these are the kind of things that you would like to write in evaluation of the program. This app talks about the places which are still unbanked, places which still have less financial inclusion. So Darshak app talks about it. And then we have Prime Minister Garib Kalyan package. Now this package is for women, and the certain amount is also given to women account holders. Now, so this is Prime Minister Garib Kalyan package. And also DBT transfer. This was one of the important requirements for having a bank account. If people have bank account, then direct benefit transfer will happen to their bank accounts. So these are the additional advantages. We have also studied about the JAM Trinity, which involves Jan Dhan account, which involves Aadhaar card and the mobile banking facilities all integrated into each other. And this is how direct benefit transfer gets facilitated. We studied this on the Financial Inclusion Index by Niti Aayog on 18th of August, right, just the last month. Image of the day is on Miyawaki style urban forest. This is based on the person Miyawaki in Japan, and this forest culture in urban areas has becoming increasing, sprawling in the urban sphere. Now, the best part about this is that it requires small plot of lands, right? And therefore, one can plant innumerable small saplings at a very close spaced locations, and after a few years we'll see dense forest growth in a small piece of land itself, and that is why very much in news. This is from Mumbai, and we have also had these plants in Chennai. The first term in news is Financial Stability and Development Council. It is in news because now the council has been expanded to include more stakeholders. The most important function of this council is to maintain financial stability and to have inter-regulatory coordination. So naturally this body will have members who are from different regulatory bodies. So members from RBI, then SEBI, then we have Pension Fund, Insurance Regulation, Forward Market Commission. They are all members of this, right? And who is the chairperson? The chairperson is the Finance Minister. And this body has become increasingly important now because India is trying to recover from the pandemic hit economy. The third term in news is DIMAHASSAN. Now this is the new name for North Kachar District Hills in the Assam region. So this is where this place is located. Very important to understand is that this is located at a strategic location where we have Meghalaya, we also have Nagaland, we also have Manipur close by. So the people of this region are ethnically very diverse, and the most important community here is the Dimasa community. Now Dimasa community is in news all the time because they keep demanding for an autonomous region for themselves. And why so? It is so because they are considered to be the most aboriginous people of this region. So even before Ahom kings, we had the Dima kings in this region, and that is why the name Dimapur in Nagaland. And this is the reason that they want a different territory, a completely autonomous territory for themselves. And lately they have also been committing some acts of violence for their demand. In Assam, there are 3 different places which are under the Autonomous Council in Schedule 6, which are the first one being the North Kachar Hills. Then we have the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council, which is just close by, and the third one is Bodoland Territorial Council. Now, these people have started to fund themselves by extortions, by taxing informally the local industries, and this time they committed some of the atrocities on a cement factory, Dalmia cement factory, and that is why in news. Imagine an integrated system of collection of the waste in villages. This is what this is. Keth Model is in news because Keth, this village in Bihar in Madhumani district, has tried to check pollution through integrated management of waste like garbage, dung, etc. Now this garbage and dung, it is collected, and it is collected so that it can be utilized for energy creation. And instead, the people of this village, they are given LPG cylinders every 2 months in lieu of giving these kind of entities, these kind of waste products. So this is a circular economy in itself. How does it help? It helps by ensuring that there is less pollution in the area, by ensuring that there is waste management, there is monetary assistance to people, and also generation of organic fertilizers through this whole scheme. The fourth term in news is on vaccinated travel lane. This has been introduced by Singapore, and Singapore is inviting people from Germany and Dar es Salaam, Brunei Dar es Salaam, which is a country very close to Singapore, and it is majorly asking people who have been fully vaccinated to travel to this country. So it is like an air bubble between these two countries. It is trying to establish vaccinated travel lane. The first editorial talks about twin problems in the national education policy of 2020. The editorial begins by saying that there are two main issues. First, Muslim education, and the second one is related to English education. Muslims form an important component of our society, 15% of population. And knowing that there are maximum number of dropouts from this community, this is the most educationally disadvantaged community, even more than scheduled tribe and scheduled caste. And yet they have not been mentioned in the national education policy. Even so, when national education policy talks about 15 years of mandatory education, what are those 15 years? So 10th, class 10th, plus 2, 12th, and then 3 years of graduation. Mandatory 15 years of education, and Muslims have not been mentioned in it. Now, we had also covered an important report of the NCPCR, and it spoke about the minority education. And these were the issues. So I have included those issues right here again. If you keep watching the videos, I will not have to write down these issues again. So the issues with Muslim education is that there are high number of dropouts in them. Highest number, in fact, among all the communities. The syllabus at madrasa, they need reformation. And also, the students there face inferiority complex because the syllabus is not revised. They study what is being passed on for generations, and that is why they drop out of this education. And also teacher training. Teacher training is required for modernizing the madrasa education, and this is where national education policy is completely lacking. The second component that the editorial talks of is education in English language. It says that English has been demanded everywhere, but it is not being introduced in government schools. Government has not focused on the national education policy and English itself. Right now, this is the reason that people are migrating from the government, regional government medium schools to the private low fee in English medium schools. This is the reason the poor are also migrating. The editorial opines that instead of increasing the presence of English, it can strengthen, the NEP can strengthen the presence of English in already regional medium schools. So this is the idea it encourages. It says that it is fine to use mother tongue and regional language for primary school development. However, wherever there is an English component, please increase the efficiency of the performance. Performance in terms of the teacher quality, performance in terms of the English material that we use. And therefore, the idea is to develop the quality of English education and not to expand, at least at the primary levels, right? The editorial concludes by saying that Uttar Pradesh, which has introduced the mandatory policy of having English education at kindergarten level, at the small child level only, it must be reversed. Why? Because this kind of English education at the primary level will stifle the foundational development of the child. It will stifle the creativity of the child, and it will stifle the language skills also of the child. And therefore, English must be utilized to improve its quality and not its expansion. These are the two important components which should have become a part of national education policy 2020. The second editorial talks about reforms through BRICS. We have already discussed the science, technology, innovation. We have also discussed the reforms related to global institutions through BRICS. We have also discussed the network of telescopes being created by BRICS, and we have also discussed the counter-terrorism action plan by BRICS in previous snapshots. The editorial starts by saying that BRICS represents 42% of world's population, 30% of land area, and 1/4 of global GDP. In the times when India and China are fighting between themselves, Brazil, South Africa are going through certain internal turmoil, and there is COVID situation prevalent, does BRICS really matter? Now, India is presiding over this BRICS. the editorial says that yes, it matters. BRICS has led to convergence between North and South. The North-South divide has gotten reduced. It has led to the formation of new development bank. Their convergence on various issues, for example, terrorism, for example, science, technology, innovation. So these are the things. And therefore, the editorial suggests that there are certain important reforms needed through BRICS. First reform is reforming the multilateral institution by having the stakeholdership of BRICS as well, United Nations, World Bank, IMF, etc. The second one is countering global terrorism, right? So how they are financed, radicalization, use of internet and networking. BRICS has to play an important role, especially in places like Afghanistan. The third one is to deepen the trade and investment ties, not only intra, but inter also. That means not only intra-BRIC members, but beyond BRIC as well, right? So the issue here is China's dominance in the trade. Now, this is where the editorial says that diversification and strengthening of regional value chains, this is important. Regional value chain, this is an important keyword, right? So the idea is here to strengthen these kind of diversification in agriculture, disaster management, health, traditional medicine, custom cooperation, right? Now, BRICS already has had a huge political clout. Political clout means huge political capital. But China is the one which is imbalancing. Why? Because China's economic rise has given undue advantage to China in BRICS and important fora. The third editorial talks about the ill effects of digitization. We have always known digitization to be a good process, a process that has shaped perceptions, actions, and environment. It has yielded good results, especially during the COVID times. However, the editorial brings to a different side of digitization. It says that the dark side of digitization is one, the usage of rare earth elements and precious metals. This has caused pollution in around the world. Also, the presence of radioactive materials. The second one, it says, is that the distributed digital infrastructure, this has led to the scaling up of energy consumption. For example, if you are using artificial intelligence technologies, it is consuming a lot of energy. The Bitcoin mining, it is ensuring that a lot of energy be consumed in these kind of processes. And where does the energy come from? From the conventional sources. And that is why it has also caused huge pollution. We talk about world's data centers. They extract huge amount of energy for their utility, right? Now, this is where the editorial says that e-waste accounts for 2% of solid waste, 2% of the solid waste, and the 7% or 70% of the toxic waste generated in United States of America. And therefore, the main idea, the wisdom should be that digital technology must be aided with green economy. Case study of the day is from Norway. It is about gender equality. All the communities around the world have started to support gender equality through statutory means, through laws and mechanisms. And this is where the system of Norway, having installed an ombud, a person who can moderate the issues related to gender, has become very relevant. Now, they will talk about if somebody is facing issues in job, some gender discrimination, if there is gender discrimination in amount payment, if there is gender discrimination and there is exploitation of females, there will be an ombudsman talking about it. Does India have it? Right now, no. But this is where we can adopt such a beautiful mechanism for gender equality in our country as well. If you like our video, if you like our effort, share some love on us through likes, comments, and shares. If you subscribe to the channel, you will receive timely updates. Thanks for watching.